Hey guys, hope all is well with you and yours. Welcome to Burgundy Blue Commentary. You guys, I was over here working like promised, and Ryan from Ryan's Gate Chicago, he had a 5 hour live, 6 hour live last night. Ryan had a 6 hour live, and if you can go over and support him, he's trying to grow his channel. Let me just put his link in there. He had a 6 hour live. And I said, well, you know what? While I'm doing my chores and stuff, let me go ahead and listen to Ryan. So I went ahead and I turned it on, and something stopped me in my tracks. So I was like, I have to go live about this. And this won't be a long live. I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to play Ryan again. I put his link in the chat. Hey, DMG. I put his link in the chat. You guys, it was interesting to hear this, and I think that, and shout out to Foxy Roxy. This is not to disparage her or anything like that. But when I heard some of the things, but I heard some of the things that were being said, and I said, oh, wow, by her not being here, she probably doesn't know. You know what I mean? And this is what, you get all your information from certain people. And what did all the YouTubers get? All the sources were the same sources from the beginning, right? And not to say she's a YouTuber, I don't know, but I really want to share this and get your thoughts. Hey, Choose. Hey, I'm gonna get your thoughts on this, and I just want. It's funny how things just really come full circle. Okay, I'm gonna play what was being said, and then I'm going to. Ryan's all about Harvey, if you guys didn't know. So this is not supposed to be Dawn related, but Harvey does stand in Thornton Township, so it turns to Tiffany Henyard stuff. But let's go.
Promotion ordinance was passed during the Henyard era. Okay, so at its first meeting on May 27th, they repealed this ordinance. Everybody voted to repeal it, to rescind it, except, did you notice this? It was weird. Valeria Stubbs wasn't there, but Clerk Casey Nesbitt didn't call her name during roll call. So that was kind of weird. I don't know if anybody noticed that. That was just, very interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys got to tell me I didn't share the page. I thought you could see the page. I'm sorry. I don't understand why the unnamed is going out. Oh, yeah, right. Me neither. So, okay, so the purpose of that ordinance was to regulate the use of township merchandise for personal promotion by elected and appointed officials. Trustees Gonzalez, Jones, and Carlisle voted in favor. Henyard voted no. Darlene Gray Everett was absent. Okay, so the motion carried. Now, why a sudden change of heart? Okay, it was supposed to ensure the integrity and partiality of township governance by prohibiting the use of township funded merchandise for personal promotion, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and that was everything. Billboards, flyers, t-shirts, pamphlets, banners. It said if someone wanted to use their name or something, then they had to pay the cost themselves, right? I think that's reasonable. Like, to me, I'd be like, shoot, don't even do that. Don't even allow it. But if they wanted to, they still could, but they have to pay their own money. Now, Gonzalez, after the meeting, said rescinding it is a way to bring things back to normal. So it's normal to use taxpayer money to illegally electioneer?
No. That's the thing is.
Okay. And again, this is not to hate on Miss Foxy Roxy. I just want you guys to please listen. And it's some of the things that we've been hearing, like what Choose Compassion has been showing us about, like the psyops or how things work. And not saying she's doing psyops, just how someone can say something and it can come and everybody spreads the word. So let's just listen to what she's saying right quick.
Napoleon paid for that. She used the tax people money to do the boxes, and to do the advertising for the boxes. Napoleon paid for that. He didn't. He put his name on it, just like what's his name? Frank. I can never pronounce that man's last name. Zuccarelli.
Oh, Zuccarelli. But I thought Zuccarelli used taxpayer money too.
No, he paid for it himself. He paid it out of his pocket. Both of them did. That's why they were.
So I had to stop what I was doing. So Frank Zuccarelli paid out his pocket to put his name on the letterhead or food boxes. I stopped everything I was doing. And what did Napoleon have to pay for? He only been in there for a week. He only been there for a week. So what is he paying for in regards to Thornton Township? Hey, hello, Jazzy, Cynthia, DMG, everybody I missed. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to play this one more time because I couldn't believe this was being said. And oh, I got Choose Compassion here. Hey, Choose, how are you today?
How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day, so all is well. We saw your turtle going down the road on your last video, so thanks for that. That was fun.
Today, making sure they were safe out of the street.
He was
Wow.
moving out. So I wanted to talk about this video. I was doing my sewing and I turned around and I saw Ryan had a video, so I was listening and I got to this part. I said, "Oh no, I have to say something." So Ryan's guest is saying that that Tiffany was using the taxpayer money to put her name on everything, but no, Frank paid out of his pocket. Frank said, "No, I will not use the taxpayers' money. May he rest in peace. I will pay out of pocket to put my name on the food boxes, the buses, and everything else." Crazy. It was very interesting to hear.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just gonna say what you said. Very interesting for right now.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let it play, and then I'm gonna bring up some paperwork because sometimes you have to see it in black and white, and that's why the minutes are so important. Because if you go to the Thornton Township meetings, you'll see what they voted on. You'll see what's clear. In Dalton, we don't have that. So you guys that are on the outside looking in, that's like me, because I'm not in government, so I'm still on the outside looking in. I don't know what was approved, who signed for what or anything, because we have no minutes, right? So let's just go to this one more time and we're just going to listen.
How many years I did it for? Almost 17 years with the.
And I will come out here and help.
Had lies about people.
I must have lost my place. Hold on.
You know, to
If you're not registered.
Go right ahead. I'm sorry. I lost my place.
I see what I just thought I saw.
What? Oh, I missed something. I missed it that fast. Let's see. You might have to text me. Let me see.
The mayor of Harvey talking to.
I made a reply.
Oh yeah, the mayor of Harvey is definitely over there in the chat. We're gonna get to that. Wait a minute, how did I lose this spot? Hold on one second. I should have wrote it down. Hold on, y'all. Timestamp.
They raided your office. They locked you. All the places you normally.
Janet and his wife Janet, they had lies about people. You know, I want to know where the mayor got this supposed information from, because like there's nothing in my file that even talks about any sort of investigation or whatever.
Hold on, I think it's right here.
Yeah. So anyway, we shall.
He put his name on it, just like what's his name?
Hold on, there we go.
Ensure the integrity and partiality of township governance by prohibiting the use of township funded merchandise for personal promotion, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and that was everything: billboards, flyers, t-shirts, pamphlets, banners. It said if someone wanted to use their name or something, then they had to pay the cost themselves, right? I think that's reasonable. Like, to me, I'd be like, shoot, don't even do that. Don't even allow it. But if they wanted to, they still could, but they have to pay their own money. Now, Gonzalez, after the meeting, said rescinding it is a way to bring things back to normal. So it's normal to use taxpayer money to illegally electioneer?
Right? No. That's the thing is, Napoleon paid for that. She used the tax people money to do the boxes and to do the advertising for the boxes. Napoleon paid for that. He put his name on it, just like what's his name? Frank. I can never pronounce that man's last name. Zuccarelli.
Oh, Zuccarelli. But
Yeah,
I thought
they paid
Zuccarelli
for.
used taxpayer money too.
No, he paid for it himself. He paid it out of his pocket. Both of them did.
Hmm.
That's why they
I
were
don't
fussing about it, because she was using the tax people money, and she was putting her name on there and the symbol and all that. That's why
promotional
they
stuff.
were arguing with her about it, because they kept using the tax. She kept using it. She didn't use her money. She used the tax people money to put her name on there.
Right.
'Cause-
But my thing is, we don't know, since they haven't, the new board hasn't been transparent. We don't know how they're paying. We don't really know how they're paying for it. We only, right now, we're just taking their word on if they're not using taxpayer money. So then,
Yeah, because
let's
that's why
see.
they were saying, they said they're trying to be transparent, because they were saying, I talked with Sherry and all of them and Vivian, and no, he's not using the taxpayers' money to put his name
And
on the box.
I don't trust them. I want to see the proof first. Now, Gonzalez.
I'm over here cracking. I'm sorry. I was over here. Now I talked to Sherry and them.
He talked to she talked to Sherry and them. Can I before
Go
you
right
do,
ahead.
TikTok kicked in, and there's a TikTok song for this. Why you always lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying. Okay, but anyway,
I think it's just so wild to me, because that would be Sherry is what, resident of Dalton. I don't see her on the board. I don't see her on the board of Thornton. So technically she's not supposed to know any board business, right? Just being honest. Do they hang around each other? I guess, is she on like maybe she's on the advisory committee to the trustees. We never got those names. But are they supposed to know board business? Have they been voted in? So talking to Sherry or Vivian, that does not make it law. I want to show you something that I have, just to give, and like I said, I'm not beating up on this young lady, but this is the food boxes prices from 2016 to 2024. And in 2016, guess what? HP products were billed to put names on the food boxes. And I also have the printing company that also pay. So it don't look like Frank Zuccarelli was paying for food boxes, even if this was a plain box, the box without the emblem or whatever, with his out of his pocket. That's quite a big chunk. Quite a big chunk. 18 just for, and this is the food boxes and some of the big food they would get, like the salt, the seasoning. They would spend $18,000 on just that. So it's very important that we just look at stuff and ask the questions. It's okay if somebody tells us something. It's fine. I get emails all the time. People are telling me this and that. I get it, right? But you have to just look into the research yourself. Just because Burgundy says it does not mean it's law. Okay? Look and find it out for yourself. So like in 2018, our food boxes cost us one shipment in July cost us $2,659.98. The August 7th one cost us $2,155.12. And this is 2018. Then they went and got another thing for another $718.37. Then the food boxes, they had to have totes. So they went ahead and spent another $2,328 for that, another $3,104. Now this is just for one month of food boxes, right? So they're crossing 30 grand, right? So then we go down to Tiffany. What's that, 2022? That first round in May, they spent $11,250. But then they didn't spend again until August. In August, they spent $3,138. So I can send this information to anyone that needs it. But no, I even have the printer company that printed for Zuccarelli and printed for Tiffany. It's all been billed to the township. Um, I don't see. I don't know now if somebody wants to just prove me wrong and say that Zuccarelli paid for all the food boxes out his pocket. I am always here to listen. But I don't even know what Napoleon has to pay for yet. On why he would be paying for anything. Yeah, he only been there a week. So he shouldn't have paid for anything yet. But the same with the book bags. Let's not forget the book bags. Zuccarelli had book bags and Tiffany had book bags. But we've been saying this since the beginning of time. And I would say you need to have the paperwork. That's it. It's just about us looking into this for ourselves instead of just gossip.
Exactly. And I think that this is exactly where things go wrong. It's actually when you talk to the wrong people. And I think outside of the residents, since since we're naming names, not us, but other people,
Right.
since Sherry and Vivian were giving that information, um, this is this is part of the problem. Did they talk to Napoleon to know that he paid out of his pocket? But we already saw a lie. So I'm sorry, whoever that was, Sherry and Vivian, per this black and white piece of paper that is right on the screen, Sherry and Vivian lied. Did they know they lied? I don't know. But this is the problem when you ask the wrong people. Why don't, would somebody go and ask the correct people the correct questions like Ryan did, like the Lansing Journal did? Because now, who comes from that channel to say, oh, Frank paid for his own food boxes and Napoleon paid for his own, when it's right here in black and white? Reading is fundamental.
And that's the problem. If you don't, I mean, let me tell you something. If you just want to hear the gossip and you guys are like, man, like I said, like the Diddy trial, that's one thing, and everybody's just running around saying everything, whatever they can say because people are watching. If that's your MO, go right ahead. But as far as I'm concerned, as someone that has to be in a township, I'm gonna ask questions. And I'm gonna ask more questions than just what about Tiffany? It can't just be about Tiffany. She's gone. All you can do is have the patience and wait for whatever outcome that you're thinking is going to happen or that may happen. That's all you can do. But right now, while you're focusing on Tiffany, and I'm not saying this specifically, but while you're focusing on Tiffany, all type of things have happened, are happening right there in front of your face. And that's something that you can't, like poor Frank. I know he just sitting there like, dang, can I please, can I please rest? Y'all still didn't give him the statue you promised. I don't think, no, did Frank get a statue? I don't know. But you didn't name Wasau, because I always pass by and say, it's what the Wasau Avenue, did it change? That's in the minutes. They said they were going to have a statue. They were going to name the street Wasau after Frank. The board approved it. I don't think those things have happened yet. Yeah. Yeah, Cynthia, this is for you. Yeah. Um,
And
so
any of that happened.
yeah, but we only know through the minutes. Now I know what happened. They did take a trip to Eagle Creek for 18 grand. Now we know that. Now that wasn't, he didn't even pay for that out his pocket. So I doubt he gonna pay for some food boxes. He was like, no, we're going to Eagle Creek and we're gonna that's the perks of what he got elected, and that was one of the perks. And Frank was a supervisor for what, 30 years, so nobody's gonna question him. And yeah, just wanted to share the food boxes with here. Not blaming, and don't think that he should have paid for the food boxes. I don't think Tiffany should have paid for the food boxes, and I don't think Napoleon should pay for the food boxes, because this is what is it? It's like we always say, what you say, choose a public aid office, assistance office. So I don't think that should be
All it
paid. Hmm?
from wherever you are, public aid, economic assistance, welfare, social services, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty much the same thing. It's where people who have less need help. So that is what Thornton Township, that board, that's all that they should be about.
Exactly. And I also think this right here with Thornton Township, where you're looking on the screen, it says Frank Zuccarelli supervisor. One way that they could save money, just put Thornton Township on the box. That would have instead of putting all the extra words, which if you guys know cost money, just put Thornton Township on the box, and then it doesn't matter who name, because what's going to happen to the old Tiffany Henry food boxes that the taxpayers pay for? They go just destroy them, throw them away.
And can I just say that I've never seen anywhere but this place right here that has bothered to put so much energy in putting their names on everything. I am not ashamed to say that in my past, when my husband died, and even when we were getting, because I got married when I was 16, so I can say without shame, I have visited food shelves before. I have. And I've never gotten a box with someone's name on it. I've never gotten, a lot of times you just get a bunch of bags, which is a lot easier and cheaper than boxes. But I just want to say that there have been about 5 different states that I have been to, and in none of those 5, I know it's 50 states, but and this is outside of Illinois, so that'll be 6. I've never seen a person's name. I've seen the county or the township on it, maybe. But a lot of times when I had gone to food shelves, it was like you're putting stuff in a bag. It's just too much talk over people's names. So just keep everything by the name, and you won't have to worry about who going in next, because that triggers some people with that power thing. If you got your name on something, now you think you got some power, and that's not it. And I also wanted to say before I forgot, with Sherry and Vivian, it's not necessarily that I think that Sherry and Vivian lied. Maybe that's what they were told. But see, that's why you go straight to the person that you want the answers from. Knowledge is power. And right now, these people that you all are not you all, but the people that support this and are not asking questions, these people have knowledge over the people that are just like saying whatever. So they have power over those people that are not asking questions. I'll just leave it like that.
I agree. Like I'm just saying, like with it, and like I said, it's nothing against Miss Foxy, of course. She's not here. She doesn't live in the township. So she's probably listening like, oh, I got an inside scoop because these are the people I see on the news all the time. And these are the people I see talking at the meetings all the time. But your biggest inside, I want to add to what Chus was saying, your biggest inside scoop is going to be the paperwork. Ask, like she said, go to the source. Go to, like, what did Napoleon pay for? Already? I'm confusion. Maybe she knows something I don't know. Like I said, I don't think she said it to be, but she probably really was like, oh, I heard this and that. That's very interesting. Those are not officials. Maybe ask the officials and see what they say. But you know, that's interesting. And then I found it interesting that everybody's face had to go on the flyer. I thought that was a problem. They barely can fit they barely can fit on a poor flyer.
And when I say something, trust me, this is my opinion and my opinion only. This was the problem, Burgundy. The problem was that it was only Tiffany, and everybody else wanted their faces on something, and that could have been very like that could have been resolved with some inside communication with just them. So yeah, this is really, I think that was a problem. It was Tiffany's face only, and they wanted theirs. I just wanted to add to what the problem was, because there is no reason to put a whole law into place and that is not even a year old yet, to say we don't need that anymore. Just say you did that for Tiffany, and the dominoes are, hey, it's a domino effect. So I'm gonna stop.
And I want to go back to Chu's video where she was saying that about, you know, community, like, and how if the more people around, I'm sorry, the more people around, the less help. So it's 10, so if it's 10 people around, then it's going to be the two popular people that you guys see out the group. And it was so funny because I remember I never understood why every time I went live, like now we only got 25 people, hit the like button, please. But we only got 25 people. And every time I went live, it was a problem. It was just because maybe one out the 25 people would be listening. And it's just me asking questions. And they would be like, oh, Bernie, you don't know. No, I don't know. So you know what? When I don't know, I go ahead and find out myself, because that right there just didn't sound right. So I was so glad I was able to have the paperwork for you guys to say, hey, oh, I just got Tiffany's big bingo. Let's see, her poster. I gotta do a side by side on my I'll do a side by side on my community page of the new big bingo. You know, I wonder what kind of prizes were given out. Are you guys going to say the same thing? Remember when Tiffany was giving out prizes? Oh, prizes can't be over $10. Y'all was quoting the law. Everybody was a law professor. It's just, okay, I'm gonna listen to a little more. But Ryan said, look, I got to see it myself. And I know it wasn't anything personal, so I hope they don't take it personal. He was just saying, hey, I need to see that for myself. Like, just that's where you got the information from. It should be bigger than that.
You know, here's the thing. All of this, I'm so sorry that I'm not sorry. So let me take that back, because that would have been disingenuous to say that I'm sorry. I'm Generation X. So all this gentle talk that we doing about, you know, now we want to give people grace, and now we want to be like, oh, I hope they don't take it personally. You shouldn't take it personally. What emotion regulated adult takes comments personally without doing some kind of, I want to say, external or internal scan? But that's another video for human behavior.
I agree. I'm gonna read some of the comments before we continue. I just think it should be just plain. It should have been that way probably since the beginning. Even when Tiffany was appointed, it could have just been plain Thornton Township. You know, it was certain things, but she was getting advised, and it's the same people doing the advisement that told us to vote for the same people. Now them people are now on the board, and it was a whole year of campaign. Bring in used bags. Yeah, bring in used bags to get it if you want to. No one has been charged. Not even the person that was on the news every week hasn't been charged, hasn't been in an interrogation room, hasn't had nothing. It's just been a year of basically everybody punching the air for nothing. Now let's go here.
Said, in rescinding the ordinance, if me or any of the trustees want to have an event and say brought to you by so-and-so, we can do that now. And notice, because they rescinded the ordinance, they're not required to use their own money. They can use taxpayer money. So now we're going to have to hold them to it and double check. Now, also, one thing that I noticed that I was not happy about is they moved quickly. Yeah, there was no discussion. There was no call to discuss anything either. So I'm not too thrilled with that. They also voted on something, establishing rules governing meetings, which we don't know what covered that. And then they approved budget for events totaling about.
Okay, so that's the last part I wanted to play, is about how they came up with new rules to govern meetings and it was no discussion. So that's very interesting. So that would be something that you guys have to look at yourself. Request that ordinance. Where's that? They adopted an ordinance, did not read the ordinance, and then had no discussion about the ordinance. So what would the new rules entail?
And you would think that after going to a billion meetings, not only to complain, but you would think that you would be there to watch what's going wrong. Why are we doing this on the first? Anyway.
The first meeting. So that's basically what I wanted to come on here. And thanks for joining me, Choose, because I was just like, Zuccarelli paid for his own food boxes. I don't want people to believe that for 30 years, 28 years.
For bringing that to people's attention, because again, knowledge is power. When we talk, we ain't talking about anybody. We're talking about this is what it was from people who know what it was. So I appreciate you for correcting that. I'm sure, it was a mistake. But we're here to bring the truth. And that's what you said is the truth. And it's here in black and white. It's not Burgundy said, it's not Choose said. It's right there in black and white. You can FOIA it. You can probably get it sent to you. Like, it's really not that deep to be doing all this extra stuff and saying he said, she said, when you can search for yourself. And we're in a day and age that we should really look for information on our own and make our own decisions based on what we research.
Exactly. And I invite you guys also to go to Thornton Township and look at the meeting minutes. Go and look at some of those older meeting minutes and just read through it. It's so many things that I hear people say. They be like, oh, well, Tiffany did this, Tiffany did that. But then when you look at those board meeting minutes, you can see who raised their hand and said, I. Who voted to fire this person? Which board member said yay and which said nay? You guys can't just hold one person accountable, even though they're in charge, but it's the board. The board. So if they're saying yay or nay to something, they could stop it. Just like they stopped Christmas. They could have stopped Big Bingo. They could have stopped it. Totally.
Bigger Bingo, who I think that's what Scott said. But yeah. And like for Napoleon, me today, you tomorrow again. So while you doing all this, and I know that Napoleon, I've done videos with Napoleon saying, hey, only the board has the power to say yay or nay and pass things. So if they start blaming stuff on you, me today, you tomorrow.
Yeah. So you guys, please read me today. You tomorrow. You're so right. Y'all, please do your research. That doesn't mean you have to be against anybody. That doesn't mean you have to hate anybody. That doesn't mean you have to attack people. Do your research so you can see what exactly is going on for yourself. And then you can hold people accountable or just ask the questions. Okay, so Tiffany gone, so it's nothing we can do about that. But is it normal? How much are we going to spend on food boxes this year? What's the budget for that? 10,000? 7,000? We spending what, 7,000 on Father's Day? What's the event? The Taste of Thornton Township is coming up this year. This will be Supervisor Harris' first year. What they're going to do at the Taste of Thornton Township, where it's going to be held at this year?
That is a great question. That's a great question about where everything's going to be held from now on. Good question.
And I say this is my vote. The Taste of Thornton Township should be held at a town that doesn't have a lot going on, bringing those resources, overtime, things for the kids. So a smaller town like Phoenix, a town like Harvey, bring the Taste of Thornton Township to one of those towns that don't have a lot going on. Dalton never had the Taste of Thornton Township, and luckily Tiffany brought it here.
in Phoenix because nobody thinks about poor little Phoenix. They weren't thinking about it when I lived there. Yes, I lived in Phoenix too. Hated it, and there was nothing to do. And so I can only imagine how it is there now. So yeah, if y'all not scared, try bringing it to an actual town where there's not a lot happening. I agree. I agree with you, Berg.
Yeah, it's that big empty lot right next to Beggar's Pizza where it used to be a entertainment center. It could be held right there, but it's gonna be in Bougie, South Holland. Sorry, Gardis, Bougie, South Holland, where they are nice and comfortable, and all the people are, everything's the flowers and the bumblebees. Everything's going over really nice in South Holland, so they're not gonna go to, the trenches. Like what's his name? Will I on the trenches? They're not gonna do that.
Oh yeah, no, they ain't gonna go nowhere near out of the trenches unless they got young Will with them. Good luck with that.
All right, you guys. Thanks so much for being here, Choose.
Thank you. Thank the chat. And I'm gonna get to my little grandbabies.
Aw, enjoy your day. Oh, she's gonna be with the grandbabies. That's so sweet. So you guys, there you have it. Like I said, it's not for us. I'm not hating on anybody. Hello for everybody that joined. I was just like, hey, like, come on now, guys. Is this thing on? Is this thing recording? Look it up for yourself. Look it up for yourself. We used to do the Reading Rainbow all the time. Take a look. It's in the book. Period. Just look it up for yourself. I think we should be past the spreading of rumors and things of that nature right now. All right, y'all. Take care of yourself and each other. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Commentary blue, commentary burgundy, commentary comment blue, commentary comment burgundy blue, commentary blue, commentary burgundy.